Hi guys, here's an update on my dirt bike. A lot of the people who are going to watch this probably didn't see the first video, so I figure I'll tell them about the history of the bike. It's a 2003 Yamaha Yz125, and the people I got it from said they bought it for their granddaughter, and the granddaughter didn't ride it very much, and so they gave it to the local bike shop, and they put it out front and get 15% of the profits from the bike. So I saw it and I thought it was a perfect bike, is the next bike for me, so we bought it. And when we looked it over, it had very little wear on it. The foot pegs looked brand new. The most wear that I could tell from it were from the handguards and the tires. It looked like it had maybe about less than 100 total hours on the bike, which is fairly good for something like this. And just recently I was reading in an issue of Dirt Rider, and they were looking at old dirt bikes, well, not old, but two-strokes, and they said the 2003 Yamaha Yz125 is the best 125 two-stroke ever made. And I have to agree with that. The only thing that I've ever had to complain about was the fact that it only has 5 gears, but it makes up for that because it has a better lower end than most two-strokes would, and it's made me really happy. Since the last video, I've changed a few things on it. The back fender was in good condition when I got it, but after a few crashes it started falling apart, which you probably can see in the latest video I have of myself riding. The back fender's actually falling apart in the movie, so we got a new back fender for it. I put some new stickers on it, and I just put those new numbers on it last night. A few months ago I put a new back tire on it because the old one was so bad it caused me to crash a few times. I've changed the wheel bearings and got a new air filter. I got a new piston and rings in it. I took it to the track about a month and a half ago, and it was running horrible. And I had to compression start it after it got running. And so I took it in the same day that it was running really bad, and they told me that the piston had melted to the exhaust. And it was the gas. The new gas from the gas stations that I was putting into the bikes have high amounts of ethanol, and ethanol is just ripping up two-strokes. And I was talking to the mechanic, and he says there's lots of them coming in now because of the ethanol. Now I'm running a 32-to-1 mixture with half race gas and half premium from a name brand gas station, because if it's not a name brand gas, then they probably have cleaners in it like alcohol or water, just bad stuff for your bike. The reason I have the idle actually sounded high here because it was a completely cold start. Normally it would take me one kick even on a cold start, but I was riding it recently and I haven't cleaned the air filter since I went riding, so it took me 2 kicks this time. But the reason the idle was high was because the choke was on, and I normally have the idle really low, and that's because for a race bike it's not supposed to idle for very long before it dies. I actually have it so it idles about 10 seconds and it naturally dies, except for when it's cold, of course. So there you have it. If you want to know if you should buy a YZ125. I mean, I say definitely go for it if you like two-strokes. But the fact is, 250Fs, they're better than 125s, but because it has a better bottom end and they're designed better for racing than these two-strokes. If you could buy any bike you want, I would go with the new KTM 150, because that thing kills 4 strokes. It's got just as much power, unlike these 125s. It's just got raw power from the mid to top end. And if you're good with the clutch, then definitely. But if you're still deciding between a YZ125, it's the best 125 that you can buy. It's a perfect stepping stone from an 85cc. If you're wondering about height and weight, I would say, well, when I got it, I was 5 feet 4 inches tall, and I could hardly touch the ground on it, and I weighed about 110 pounds. And that's a pretty big difference from what I am now. But I mean, I don't really think it matters how tall you are, because I had just as much ability to go fast as I do now. I just have more skill now than I did back then when I first got the bike. I mean, height, it doesn't matter. I figure if you're short, then you can corner better because your legs aren't sticking out that far. So, weight, it is kind of a problem though. I mean, a 125, it's got enough power. It can even throw an expert rider if you're not ready for the power. So, it's definitely a great bike. I recommend it.